you ever had Everclear?
And
It's a fire. Good evening and welcome to Real Talk, where we have real conversation about business, lifestyle, and entertainment. Real Talk is sponsored by One Unit Executive Protection, www.oneunitep.com. This is episode 22, and it is titled Past Trauma. Right. On our first of all, before I get to the panel, hey King.
What's up?
You know, I'm ready to dive right in. Look.
What's going on?
How are you? I haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
I know, right?
What you been up to?
Oh, man, just gritting and grinding.
I feel you.
You know, new projects on the way. I'm
Yeah,
excited about
yeah.
that. And,
You know.
I got 2 movies on the way.
Oh, we love new projects and new movies, but we're not talking about King the actor.
No, we're
Okay.
not. You asked me what I was up to.
That was just like, hey, how you doing?
Yes, you do.
Type deal, you know. Because never mind, I'm not gonna do it. So, our panel this evening, on our panel, we have Sharisa Robertson. She is an author and business owner. She is the owner of Unmotherfuck Yourself.
I love the name of that.
Y'all know, I've been
I
waiting.
love how your eyes get so bright when you say it.
I've been waiting.
Fuck yourself.
Yes, Unmotherfuck Yourself.
Definitely.
Yes. So
can't wait to hear what
I
that's
know
about.
y'all cannot wait to hear that. And yes, I got excited because I said the F word.
The bomb.
Absolutely. Yes.
She did ask for permission first.
I did because I
right.
wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure. But it's the name of her company. I gotta say it.
I can't wait to find out.
I know I can't wait either. We also have Kiana Stallworth, freedom coach, speaker, and author. Hey, Kiana.
Hey, Angelina.
Hey, boo.
How are you?
Oh, yeah, you gotta talk on the microphone.
Okay, I have to
Yeah,
talk.
you gotta-
Are we live yet?
We are live.
We are
Live.
live.
We are
Hello.
live. So Kiana and I go way back like babies with pacifiers. Okay, maybe not that far back, but
Yes.
But hey,
Big Wheels, y'all go back far.
no,
Big
not
Wheels.
even that far. But
No, not that far,
like
but-
not even that far.
Far
But
enough.
it seems like that, but not that far.
Not that far.
You know, we click.
Yes.
You know.
It was an instant click when we met.
It
Yes.
be like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes your day ones don't be the A ones.
Facts.
That's true.
Facts. So we clicked, and so we've kind of, we've been cool for the most part every since. But then I thought she did something to me, and so I stopped talking to her. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yes,
like
she did.
I thought
And
she
I
did.
did
I thought she
not.
did something to me, and she did it, but she didn't do it. But one of the things that I thought was so dope, even in the midst of it, because yes, I'm a Virgo. I'm stubborn. You know this, King, right?
Super sensitive
Okay.
too.
Yes. Okay. You ain't have to say
Sensitive?
that. Yes.
Angelina?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you where the sensitive comes in is we'll just stop talking to you because we feel some type of way. We don't want you to see the sensitive, but we are sensitive. Hush, you telling them too much about Virgos, King. So, however, with that being said, Kiana was the bigger person. She was the bigger person.
Shout out to
Kiana.
Thank
Bigger
you.
person. But sometimes, you know what? In this new age that I'm indulging in now, sometimes I be like, F being the bigger person. Because I didn't do nothing to you.
Well,
But it wasn't that
Well,
time.
it
Shout out to
wasn't
you, though.
that. And then Angelina did reach out, and she did apologize. And then I didn't hear from her after that. And I'm like, I think she still was feeling some type of way. So I reached out to her, and I'm like, because I know, I'm like, it wasn't that serious.
It wasn't that serious.
But you was definitely in your body. Moving right along.
So anyway, shout out to Kiana. She was the bigger person. Y'all.
I was.
If
We
y'all
both
know me,
were.
yeah,
I think we
yes.
both were as adults, as women,
Yes.
which is important.
And it was it's a learning lesson too for women because it wasn't any hard feelings and we kind of like, to be honest, I ain't gonna say we picked up like
Yep.
we never missed a beat.
We
So
did.
and then
That's
we'll have
what's
to
up.
tell you about some. Are we gonna tell them?
It's real talk. Why wouldn't
Yeah.
We
you?
gonna tell them later.
Yeah, we'll tell them
We'll
later.
tell them later.
We'll
We're gonna
later.
tell them later.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you want to listen or if you have other means I'm gonna give you guys a couple of different ways you can listen to us. You can download the Podcast Detroit app and you can click on Studio 4 and you can listen live, or you can never mind. Or if you want to comment or if you want to ask a question. If you want to comment or ask a question, you can do so by calling
248-838-3661.
All right. Okay. All right, so hey y'all.
Hello.
Y'all good?
Yeah, I'm
Y'all
good.
good? Okay.
Got my little Kool-Aid.
You got your Kool-Aid? Girl, me too. I got a squirt. What you got?
I got ginger ale.
I got the fireball over here.
I left my water in the car.
Okay.
What you got, Kate?
Coke and Kraken. Crack and Coke.
Crack and Coke.
Okay.
It's a rum.
Her Coke is
Did
cracking.
you say crack?
Yeah.
Kraken.
Kraken rum. Kraken Coke.
It's called cracking.
Wow.
It's a dark spice rum. Real strong. Real great.
Ooh, Lord
Okay.
Jesus.
Man, we
I don't
getting
know.
lit
She
up
said
in here.
drug spice crap.
You know, the first thing I heard was crack.
Dark
Okay,
I'm like, okay,
rum.
maybe.
So,
I feel
I'm
like I
saying,
need
all
to
you
go
gotta-
get the bottle at this point. It's 94
All that
proof.
is
It's a
is
dark spice rum.
Okay,
It's
so
real
it's
good.
okay,
That's
it's
just
high
squirt?
proof.
Basically
man.
crack.
It's a dragon in a cup.
Okay, so let's get right into it, y'all. Today, like I said, this is episode 22. You know we got to have a little shenanigans on the show. Always. You know, we're never serious and stuffy.
That's just who we are.
Yeah, it's just who we are.
I don't take this thing called life too serious because we all
Hey.
take it to the same place when it's
Absolutely.
all over with.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
definitely.
And the fact that no matter what curveballs life throws you, you're still able to sit back, laugh, and enjoy.
And
You
keep
know?
it moving.
Um,
Definitely.
So again, this is episode 22, and we're talking about past traumas.
Deuce.
So again, I want to introduce. I'm gonna introduce you, ladies, again, and then
Okay.
tell our listeners a little bit about you. So we're gonna start with Sharisa Robertson, who is the owner of Unmotherfuck Yourself.
Yes, ma'am. I'm motherfucking myself daily. So, I'm a mother of 3. I'll be 40 this year.
Congrats.
I started my business because of the issues that I had with my mother, and I work with women who have issues with their mother, adult daughters who are most currently still being abused by their mother. The abuse started probably mostly in childhood, and it just continued on as they got older. You would think that when they get older it stopped, but it doesn't. There are a lot of abusive older women out there that physically abuse. I work with women who've been sexually abused by their mother, financially, verbally. That's my story. I wasn't sexually abused. My mother emotionally abused me, mentally abused me, physically, verbally. I've been kicked out the house so many times, jumped on. A lot of men came in and out the house. And I can go on. Started when I was about 15. We don't talk much. I did wish her happy birthday on her birthday, Valentine's Day, through a text. I haven't talked to her, seen her since July. And I'm also working to make sure that I don't mess up my own kids because I have 2 daughters. One's about to go off to college next year. And so it's hard to try to mother what you're trying to heal from as well. So I have to make sure that I learn from my mother's mistakes and not damage my children so that they can be okay and they're not out on the podcast 20 years from now talking about me. So it's been a journey, and it's just what I do. People don't like to always talk about it, but it's a needed conversation. I've written 6 books. I think 2 or 3, maybe 3 are about the mother and daughter relationship. The others about abuse. So I've done quite a bit. I'm working on some other things. And so right now I just host little small gatherings so women can just come and feel safe and talk about it and say what you need to say, however you feel like you need to say it so that we can move on from there.
So you can vent, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we have to heal too. We're going to keep on
yeah.
talking. We got to get somewhere. But they do need to vent because they never had that voice. It's always shut up, you're lying, get over it, so what? I've been through that. Why are you talking about that? How old are you now? But they need that space to initially just let it all out. And then we just move on with a purpose from there.
I totally agree with that.
That's
big. The
yeah.
healing and like you say, you're not trying to teach your daughters and mother your daughters in a sense, but you're still healing. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? So that's a job. You know what I mean? That's a real one. Big kudos to that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You know, because this, one of the things, that me and King talked about is kind of changing up the dynamics of the show. We want to hit those topics that, people don't want to discuss anymore, those topics that people, sweep under the rug. And definitely past trauma is one of those things. Childhood trauma. You have to understand, children go through things.
Yeah.
And if it's not, if they don't get help, that that goes with them into their adulthood,
Mhm,
and they have
definitely.
like so many effects, and people are like, well, why does this person do that, or why do they do that? Like it's a reason they are the way they are because of the past trauma, and they haven't. There's so many people out here that have not healed from
I
the
get
past
told
trauma.
all the time from my older siblings. I got an older sister and an older brother. They say, "Man, you act just like grandma." You know, I'm like, she practically raised me. You know what I mean? And that's just the sternness aspect of it. But she was always fair. You know what I'm saying? So even with my kids, I I talk to them and I let them know. I'm like, hey, this is a cheat code that I'm giving you on how to, you do what you supposed to do, and I do what I'm gonna do for, with the extras, So we do become products of our upbringing. You know what I mean? But yeah, just hearing that part from you, that's and from a woman, man, that's
Absolutely.
because y'all go through enough. You know what I mean? I was raised by strong women, so I don't have a problem with identifying strength. You know what I mean, and giving the kudos. You know what I mean? Because I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Even for your daughter. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So we're gonna come back to you because we want to get into your story a little bit more deeper. But Kiana, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
All right, so I'm Kiana Stallworth. I have 2 boys, 21 and 13. I am a freedom coach. I am an author. I am a speaker. I'm a freedom coach because I want to help free women and men from their past trauma or what's the obstacles that's keeping them from getting to where they want to be in life. So a little bit about my story. I was abused. I was sexually abused from my father, probably from the age of, or maybe from kindergarten on to like 8th grade. So a pretty long time. So becoming a woman, I had to deal with a lot of things. I did do a little counseling, but it still wasn't enough because I dealt with depression and I dealt with low self-esteem and my confidence was very low and just dealing with things because of what I went through in my past. So I had to go through some stuff and I just felt like I want to just help other people who's been through the same thing, get to where they need to get in life like I did, to let them know that you don't have to stay down. You don't have to let your past control your future. You can be what you want to be. You can be successful. You can be the best, and you can meet your goals. So my first book was Coach My Life, and it was an anthology with other coaches. And my chapter was Are You Free? Finally ready to emotionally evolve, because I think that that's something a lot of people, they don't evolve emotionally and they stay stuck. And my thing is, I want to help you get unstuck and get where you need to be in life so you can be, the best you.
Do you have any type of relationship with your father now?
My dad has passed.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So, in 2013, 2012, we found out he had cancer and he passed like beginning of 2013. But my story, I have a book that I'm writing that's telling everything. It's gonna go through generational curses. It's gonna deal with everything. And I will say that before he passed away, he apologized.
Good.
So it, it is what it is. I still love my father. I forgave my father, and that was the best thing that I can do. And a lot of people don't forgive, and they stay there, and they let that unforgiveness control their life. And it's like people don't understand that once you forgive, it's a weight lifted off of you. And you can go on with your life.
I
You don't have
agree.
to stay there. So I forgave my father. I've been forgave him even before he apologized. So.
Right. And what made me ask that is because I never had a relationship with my dad.
Okay.
One of the conversations that, one of the last conversations that I remember him having with my mom, I kind of like overheard it over the telephone when he told my mom I wasn't even his child.
Wow.
And I was 8 years old, And it wasn't until maybe I was 22, 23 years old when I was like, you know what? I'm going to get over this. I'm going to let, I forgive this man. You know what I'm saying? I need to know more about him so I can understand more about myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when I got to that point, I can remember exactly where I was at. I was in the hotel. I'm not the hotel, but I was in the leasing office of an apartment that I was trying to get. And my mom, she called me. She said, hey, Wesley, where you at? What you doing? I said, well, I'm out checking out this apartment. I'm like, what's up? She was like, I just wanted to share with you that your father passed away. And I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? Because she found out because she was going to get, her, when they get older, the money, her Social Security, and she still carried his last name, and it kind of like stunned me, like what I mean.
That's how she found out. So she
That's
didn't even get like a call.
Yeah,
or something. Wow.
It wasn't even like a call or nothing like that. It was just like, whoa, you know what I mean. And she was just making sure I was okay because I had told her, I was like, I would definitely love to talk to him. You know what I mean. I'm cool with it. I just want to know more about him so I can understand myself.
Right.
So, big shout out to you.
Thank
you know what I mean? But because I'm raising, a non-biological child. A young daughter, young lady, through my wife. You know what I mean? And I just had my first daughter, Cassidy, at 4. You know what I mean? So, I'm teaching myself. You know what I mean? I even with my 4-year-old. I got my way of dealing with it, especially when she went to the bathroom. I tell her, hey, if, check with your mom. If mom not around, sis not around, then I come in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Things of that nature. So it's because it's no instructions with these kids. You know what I mean? So I'm being careful. And I talk to her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, but, that's good. Kudos to you because we still need our dads. And,
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, I know.
It's an intense situation, but
and kudos because you two you're on a podcast, like you're getting ready to you've broken it down, you're getting ready to break down some other stuff. Like, do you know how many people who just have that fear and they're holding on to it and they can't heal and they can't let it go? So hopefully, somebody is listening, they can be like, hey, I can do this. I can do this, So I wanted to go back to Sharisa, and I kind of wanted you to kind of break down your story to us. Like, when did things start happening? Like, how was your childhood?
I always start from 15, but I had an epiphany recently this year that I wasn't abused before 15, but me and my mother never really had a connection, and I didn't realize that, and I think that's why I kind of made it easier for me to be abused by her. I had the mother that was like the fast mother that wore like you remember the move some dresses and they called them back in the day. I think they body cons now. And she's always nice looking. She'd go out, get hit on. My dad worked at Chrysler. She ran 3 group homes. She would go to work and she wouldn't come home from work. She would go out. She was a party mom. My dad would come cook and all that stuff. So sometimes we wouldn't even see her anymore throughout the day. And she didn't have the conversations. We didn't talk about sex. I came my period. She didn't talk to me much. She just stuffed a tampon in me, and it was like that was it. And I'm like, what happened?
That's traumatic in itself.
That's very traumatic. Yeah. I'm like, whoa.
Because she didn't have any pads around, and she was like, she just stuck it in me, and I was like,
whoa.
What happened? Wow. I was so.
So she was there physically, but
so
emotionally
she was never
wasn't there
before
then.
Yeah.
And 15, when I turned 15,
and daughters need that.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was never that conversation. I didn't know anything about a lot of things. I had a mom that was there. She talked at us, yelling, cussing, screaming, dumb motherfuckers, and all that type of stuff. And then her and my father, they both had affairs. I don't know who did what first, but they had affairs, a lot of arguments, and eventually they split. I knew she was kicking it with 2 dudes because they would come to the house and pick her up. And she would be gone for days sometimes. We would not see her for 3-4 days. She wouldn't say anything. She wouldn't call. My dad know where she was at. Then when they separated, we moved to our new house, Southwest Detroit. And I just happened to wake up one day. It was 3 days later. I woke up one day, and it was 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And she just happened to be walking by my bedroom door with this man. Now, her and my father just we just literally moved out 3 days ago. So it was no shocker that she was kicking it with people because they would call the house while my dad was at work and come pick her up. So I knew there was somebody. And so I'm like devastated. By the time she walked, they don't say anything. By the time she walks back, I'm in tears. And she said to me, her exact words, "This is my motherfucking house. I do what the fuck I want to do. If you don't like it, you can get out and see what type of hoes your dad have." And she walked away. 3 days later, I wake up again. I'm like, why do I keep getting up in the morning? I just wake up. She walked by with another man. She walked by my room to see if I was going to cry again. I did not cry. And I learned then that I couldn't express my emotions. It was never a conversation. From there, it was like many men. Like, I lost count after about 20.
See, and that's traumatic within itself. You know what I mean? That you had how old were you?
I was 15.
At 15, right? She had to learn how to harness her emotions. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I mean, even like with my sons, my youngest boy, he's 5. I got out of the habit, real quick of saying, "Boy, stop crying." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I might have took his toy from him. Mm-hmm. You take a toy from a kid, guess what they supposed to do? They actually supposed to cry. You don't supposed to. You know what I mean? We want to raise our children to be strong and and things of that nature. But in all actuality, that's crying and emotions. That's real. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Now, what I do teach along with that is, hey, you don't have to cry. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's a reason. Let me explain to you why I took it, and let me explain to you how you can get it back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So from there. I was getting kicked out the house. It'd be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm out in the street in my pajamas. And either she would come home with a man, and I would hear her having sex. Sometimes she would maybe get up in the morning, cook them breakfast, and I had to go in the room. It smelled like sex in the room. It's kind of on the floor and they're naked underneath the covers, and I would have to give them breakfast. Or she would come home drunk by herself, and she would wake me up, and she would jump on me, beat me up, cuss me out. And this was an everyday thing. Either she came home with a dude, or she came home and she jumping on me, or she crying about her life and how she devastated and what she going through. And then next thing you know, alarm go off. I got to get up and I got to go to school. Right. So I got to hop on the bus because she go upstairs now.
You 10th grade.
Right, 9th, 10th, 11th grade. Every year we moved. I went to a different high school every single year. And we always moved in April. And it was like dang, I would never get stable. It was never that stability. Right. And this was my life all the way until I was about 19. Woke up, kicked out the house, dude coming around, taking money. I had to pay rent. I got a job at 16. I had to pay rent. I had to pay groceries. I had to put on, toiletries, making $5 an hour. I had to take care of all my own stuff. She was getting alimony, child support, and she had a job.
So were you the only child?
No, I had a brother. I'm 3 years older than my brother. She would never go in his room, which I never wanted her to, but she would bypass his room and come straight in my room every time.
So she never, the things that she did to you, she never did with him.
I had to have a job. He didn't. I had to, it was just me. And I think I know, I'm thinking maybe because I'm a girl, I'm thinking maybe I represented something different. Maybe, I don't know what it was. I can't call it. And I can't figure that out. She won't never admit to it. So I can't worry about it. I just know she targeted me for whatever reason, maybe because I was the one that gave her the emotions to react to it. So I was an easy target. And then it became a point where I felt like it was my job to try to heal my mother. And I'm like, well, if she's going through all this, she keeps dumping on me, maybe I'm strong. So I would tell myself that it made me strong to take on other people's stuff. Mm-hmm. And because I'm like, she would come, bother me, wake me up. So that's what I thought I had to do. So I would just take it and cry, go to school, depressed. I wouldn't really do much. I wanted to drop out, but I didn't drop out because a lot of people in my family had dropped out before me.
Was there a point at any time where you felt like that was the norm?
Yeah, I knew it wasn't right, but I didn't have many people to talk to. I didn't tell my dad. My dad didn't know. And so I was grown. And that was
he still in the state? Was he still?
Yeah, okay. He was still there. He wouldn't really come around too much. He don't really care for my mother still. I think I guess she was abusive to him. I don't really remember, but he still harbored some ill feelings towards her.
And how's you and his relationship?
Me and my dad, we're good. Okay. It's not perfect, but we're good. I talk to him. I see him. I don't see my mother a lot. And I can talk to her. We cannot talk for years. And I don't see her. I don't think much about it. She don't know much about my kids. But she would like let me live with her because I left, had a baby, came back. She kicked me out when I was pregnant, jumped on me, choked me up, threw me out the house it was so hot this day. I swear to God, it was so hot on a hot summer day. And kicked me out, told me I can come back. I came back after I had the baby, kicked me out on a cold winter day. So it's like she always let me in her house. I even stayed with her recently, like 3 years ago, because I didn't want to, but I was in the middle of transition to another house, and I needed the house to get fixed up. And I stayed with her, and it was actually decent. And I'll give her props on that. She surprised me, but I felt it coming. It was slowly. Even my kids caught it like, what's wrong with grandma? Like, she acting kind of. I was like, yeah, y'all peep that too. Like, yeah, we need to get up out of here. We're going to be, me and 3 of y'all, we're going to be all on the street real quick. So it was like, it's been a lot, and she could still be abused. I worked with her in one of her group homes. She would gossip about me at work. Like, I would come to work, and people like, yeah, your mama said this. Like, it'd be lies or just telling my business. So it was, like, ongoing even as I became an adult.
So let me ask you this. So do you know of any maybe trauma or anything that your mother experienced growing up?
Not necessarily, but I would say I come from a very dysfunctional family.
Okay.
Very. I witnessed a lot. All the men on that side of the family have been murdered on the street or been to jail. The women were the ones that had to work, go, push and hold down things. Alcoholism, drugs. So it was a lot. Families always argue every get-together. Somebody's arguing, fighting. Somebody might get stabbed, cussed out. Might be a whole big... And that's how we grew up. Then we'll go back and do it again. So it was very dysfunctional. It still is. I don't know her exact story. And I'm firmly... Everybody has a story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But my point is, my mother has a story, but it's not my burden to carry that story.
Right.
And just like my story, it's not my kids' burden to carry my story. I can relate to her as a woman. I can relate to her as a mother, but as a daughter, it doesn't make it right. Because at some point, you know that you're being wrong. And that's why people say, well, you only get one mother. That don't mean nothing to me. Yeah. And I'm going to keep it real. That don't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
Because I get one me.
Right.
And she got to remember, I came from her. Stop telling me that your mama birthed you. Tell her that. She should treasure that I came from her. I'm a representation of her, and she didn't treat me how she should have treated me. So all that doesn't really don't work on me.
I totally agree. I absolutely, totally agree with that. Because I think people are so quick. This is one of the things that people are so quick to throw up that one Bible scripture. You already know where I'm going with this, right?
Ephesians 6:2. Honor your mother and your father.
Honor your mother and your father, so that your days on this. Okay, blah blah blah. I get it. I do. I get it. Okay, but at the same time, people are so quick to say that. Prime example: me and my father. Tried it a million times. It's just not gonna happen. And so my uncle slid into my DM on Facebook one day and shared a video with me, and in so many words he was trying to say, honor your father, but he was like, make sure you honor your mother. And I said, I do on a daily basis. What are you trying to say? But I knew where he was going with it. But you have to understand that you can't treat your children like shit.
Yeah.
Okay? And then expect for your children to honor and obey you. But at the same time, you're treating your children like shit.
There is no accountability for abusive parents.
You know what I'm
People
saying?
talk about it, they'll gossip, well, she be treating her kids. Nobody holds them accountable.
And the thing of it is, so you can't say, oh, you're a bad daughter or you're a bad son because you're this way with your parents. It's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be in the home or not be in the home. You know what I'm saying? However it goes. So where you can't tell me that. Like, stop quoting that Bible scripture to people, telling them to honor their mother and their father, because you got to look. Yeah, it's easier said than done. But you got to look and see what has happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In that past, why people are the way that they are. Like prime example, like me, I have a 23-year-old daughter. She mad as hell at me to this at this day and time, but it's from some past things that I had no control over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you own, you know, and I own my fault. I own my faults. I own my faults. You know, I'm the first person that, hey, I'm sorry that things happen this way. You know what I'm saying? Because I know firsthand what it's like growing up with certain situations. You know what I'm saying? And so I never got those apologies that I thought I should have gotten. And I probably never will receive those apologies, but I'm okay with that because, you know what I'm saying? I have to keep moving.
Right.
And then I have 4 children. You know what I'm saying? Like I have 4 kids. So I can't let those past things
affect you right now. Yeah.
You know, my younger children. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, like with my daughter who's 23, I feel like I've done my part. You know, I feel like I've done all that I can do. You know, like I'm a woman enough to say, hey, I'm sorry things happen this way. There is no manual on how to raise kids. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not.
It's not, you know, and so, but if I'm wrong, I'm definitely going to admit, and I'm going to tell you I'm wrong. And then next, it's okay. So now,
where we go from here?
Can we fix this?
Right.
How can we move forward at this point?
Right.
I just want to jump right in on that. The only thing I disagree with that is when the statement of saying I've done all I can do, and I understand how that fits into maybe different scenarios, but as a parent, your job is never done. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
It may take another lane or route that you might want to go down to you know, say if it was a pitch and a fork on this one situation, you find a new lane. That new lane might bring you back and you might get more clarity on it. So it may allow.
Well, I'll say this. I won't say that I'm done. Like, hey, I've done everything that I've
No,
done.
not saying that. Not saying that you are, but I've heard that, like from not just people in the world. Man, look, I did my job.
You know,
your job is always
right.
As a
Have you thought
parent.
about counseling?
You know what? It's a possibility. I'm game for it, but then also you got to be game for it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I won't say, hey, I've done. That's it. I'm done with it. You know, I'm watching. No, you know what I'm saying? Never that. You know, but you're an adult.
Yeah.
That's true.
You're grown.
Yep.
I gotta let you. You know, I gotta let you make your own decisions, and I gotta let you do you right now. You know what I'm saying? At any point in life, you can always pick up the phone and call me. You can always knock.
And then she's only 23.
Like those,
You know,
like
that's still a
that'll never
baby.
change. Like I'll never close my door to you. Like my door is always open to you. You know, but it's just one of those things where I'm gonna give you right now is the time. I'm gonna give you your space. I'm gonna let you do you.
So eventually, you know, maybe you can reach out, and you know, hey.
I hear you, Freedom Coach.
Somebody, Angel Styles just commented, how can you admit you're wrong if you don't think you're wrong? That's no. She putting that out
how
there.
Can you admit?
How can you admit you're wrong if you don't think you're wrong?
Well, yeah, a lot of people don't admit
lot
they're
of- a
wrong
lot of-
because
yeah.
they don't think they're wrong, so they don't admit it,
and they never will admit
they
to
never
being
will.
wrong.
And it's just one of those things. Like when my grandma used to say, especially about my cousin, she's like, "Boy, that boy lies so much, he start believing his own lies."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
like
a
you
good,
can start
know,
thinking
that's
it's the
good
truth.
What she said, that's good because so many people don't think that they're wrong. Like they think their way of parenting is
Right.
right.
As long as they put a roof over your head and buy you clothes, but that's not the pinnacle of being a parent.
No.
There is an emotional side to it. And our generation, I think that's what was lacking. And we were forced to push through that. And these kids, this generation, they're not going for that. That's why they cry, they bully, they fight. I think it's the emotions from past that's being displayed from these kids today. And I work in a school, and these kids are so emotional and so just. And I think it's just generation of years because we weren't able to talk.
Yeah.
The generation
We
before us,
couldn't.
they didn't talk.
Yeah.
Because what was the saying? And I know, and we talked about it when we were waiting to come in. Like one of the most famous things that people said in the home was, "What happens in this house
Stays
And that's
in this
exactly
house.
what she told me. And then it was too, I was ashamed. I'm like, if you judge my mama, you judging me because I came from her.
Exactly.
I'm already connecting myself to my mother at 15. So I didn't want anybody judging her because I came from her. So what did that make me?
Right.
And that was the reason why I didn't tell on my father until, well, I did eventually,
Hold on
you
one
know.
second, because we gonna get to you. Because
You gonna get to me?
We coming to you right now.
Yeah,
Because I
because
wanna
we do gotta reach out,
Yeah.
to our listeners, man. If you want to call, chime in, or anything, you can call in at 248-838-3661. Again, that's 248-838-3661. And today's topic is past trauma. We have the beautiful
Sharisa.
and
Freedom Coach Kiana.
and
Coach
as
Key.
as usual, my sister Angelita, the coach, and I'm King Wesley.
Hey. Okay, so we're gonna shift it. We're gonna shift a little bit, and we ain't shifting too much.
Cause
but-
shift happens.
Yeah. But we want to definitely get into your story a little bit, Kiana. As far as like. Yeah, I don't really know. I'm just kind of
Well-
at a loss for words because you don't know what to say. So,
I mean, what do you want to know? I will say this, going back to where we were just talking about, me and my dad, our relationship was very different. I had this, I love you, but you lost your father privileges. So I love you, but you can't tell me what to do. So after that came out, he still tried to be a daddy. And, you're not going to do this, you're going to do this, and you're going to listen to me. No, you're not. You lost those privileges.
You forfeited that.
You forfeited. But I still love you. I don't want anything to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? But you lost those privileges.
So when did you said from kindergarten all the
As
way?
I remember from kindergarten, I remember when I was at a very young age.
So
Very, very young age. In elementary school.
Did you,
It could have possibly been before kindergarten.
It could have possibly been.
Right. So growing up, how was it? Was it awkward? I'm trying
It was awkward. I wouldn't say we had a bad upbringing. With my mom, she's a good mother. My grandparents or my grandmother and my grandfather, they was always there. We went to church, but we always had this side because my father was an alcoholic. So, him and my mom eventually ended up getting divorced, basically, mainly because of what happened to me. But my dad, he was an alcoholic. And so it stemmed from that. And then I found out later on that it stemmed from him being abused as well. And that's what I say, we talk about generational curses and breaking the curses. And I I had to break that,
Absolutely.
I'm not, playing that.
Research has proven that male and female, molesters and predators and stuff like that, they are groomed. You know what I mean? I just recently found that out.
Yeah.
From a friend of mine. She actually lives in Houston right now, and she was telling me about her female aunt that molested her. You know what I mean? Up until the age of 21. It started at maybe around 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she I never knew that. You know what I mean? And because in school the boys, if we seen a pretty girl or whatever, we would pick with them. You know what I mean? And she kind of brought that up. It's like, why'd you guys always pick on me? I'm like, well, I ain't never really pick on you. I would just crack a joke and just leave it alone. And but then that's how it came out. She was just confided in me. You know what I mean? And she was just brought that to my attention. Those people, they are groomed into being that. You know what I mean? So that the generational curse is real.
It's real. And so he, it was always, if you tell anyone, when I was younger, and because like I said, that's my daddy.
Right.
That's my father, that's my, if you tell anyone, we gonna both go to jail.
And that's like your superhero.
Until I got old enough to be like, this is not right.
Right.
This is, no.
This isn't it.
And then he started being controlling when I got in middle school, going towards high school, and and I was like, I can't take this anymore. And my mom, she was working a lot, so she didn't know what was going on. And so, like I said, it wasn't a bad upbringing. We had a good upbringing, but aside from that and his alcoholic and me being sexually abused and physical abuse with my mom and stuff like that,
And then you think of it too because it's like, okay, this is my mom, this is my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. these are my protectors.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I didn't want him. That's why it was like, I felt like, so when it happened, and I did eventually tell my mom, and we went to court. My dad, he went to jail, and we went to court, and the judge was like, and I'm still young, I didn't want my dad. The judge asked me, he said, "What do you want done to your father?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want him to go to jail. I just want him to get some help, And he sent him off to get help with the VA or something like that. But mainly it was just help with his alcoholism, which really still didn't help
The
too
underlying
much.
issue.
Yeah, the underlying issue.
Yeah.
And so, no, I didn't get abused anymore after that, but it still was an issue with the alcoholism and things like that.
Do you have children?
Yes, I have 2 boys.
Okay. And I want to ask this because I know how I personally feel, and I just want to ask each and every one of you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel, growing up? Because you told me some situations that happened younger, and I'm just learning your situation and yours. How do you feel about, like, with children going and spending the night over friends' houses and
Don't
things of
have
that nature?
My kids have never.
More like family, not friends. I don't even really have any too many friends anyway. But my sons, they basically are with family, and it can happen with family too.
You still
Yeah.
You still have to have that
Absolutely.
conversation with your kids, and you still have to be conscious because it can happen with family members as well. But it's no.
Because
They can't go anywhere.
for
Put it
me,
like that.
Without putting too much of my stuff out there, because
Let's
y'all
go.
gonna have to get the book.
They're gonna have to read
Right,
about
Get
it.
the book.
You're gonna have to read about it, which I ain't wrote a check, but
Ooh.
that's another one. No, that's a different one. That's something totally different.
Okay.
But for me, like, so with just my past, growing up, with the little one, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I have a 15-year-old son. And we get down and we talk.
I know y'all do. They got a mama like Angelita.
We talk, okay? We talk. And trust me, like you said, a mama like Angelita, I said, they can't tell you I'm going to kill your mama. They can't tell you I'm going to kill your daddy. They can't tell you that I'm going to hurt you. They cannot tell you absolutely anything.
Nothing that'll stop you from coming to tell me what I need to know.
Something happened, she crying. Yeah, they can't tell me anything. Like, you can't say anything to my kids because my kids know what type of mama they have, and they know, oh, hell no, mama coming for you.
Hell,
So
about to break loose.
okay,
yeah.
yes, we have talks often. So as far as them going to stay the night at a friend's house, absolutely no, that hasn't happened. And just society, it's a different time. So if I don't, all of us, I think we come from the era of you knew everybody in your neighborhood. You knew people.
Yes.
Like, you were part of the
It's
village.
not like that anymore.
Yeah, like you were part of the village that helped raise you. Like, that's the era that I came from, to where when I went to school, my friends that I went to school with, my mom, the parents knew each other. Dog, I don't know who these parents is. I don't know anything about these parents.
And
So, and even with family. Why are you laughing at me, Kiana?
I'm not laughing at
Oh,
you.
because you know how I am.
I know how you are, but no, I'm not laughing at you.
But, and then even with family, I'm going to tell you, my kids, they stay the night with family. They go over family house. And as soon as they come home, we have a conversation before you go to family. We have a conversation after you leave family. Because when it comes to mine, I don't trust nobody.
Yeah, and as a parent, that's how you have to be. I'm just going to go back on what you just said. We come from a time, a different era. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I'm agree with you. The thing is, it was happening back then as well. It's just what I'm agreeing with you is the fact that it's just we haven't done anything to change or bring, we didn't have these outlets that these avenues that you created.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's part of the reason. Like I said, I give you the great kudos on giving that outlet and that venting and finding that trying to dig for that solution because we all can vent, but where's the solutions coming in at? You know what I mean? So,
I think now a lot is coming out, like with over the last couple of years.
Everybody coming out.
Everybody coming out. I think people feeling more freely to talk about it. People feeling more freely to open up. People,
But
you know.
But you know what? And I think though, it's to talk about it is good. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to talk about it.
It's healing to talk about it. It's healing to get it out, to write about it. It's, I will say my first chapter was healing to me.
Absolutely. So for me, like there's just, you know, King and I, we've talked about stuff, and you know, just if you know me and you're in like my immediate space, there's things that you know about me. So for me, was it this year? No, it wasn't this year. It was, I think, early last year. Like I told my little sister and my aunt about some things that I had held on since childhood. You know, I finally, you know, came out and I finally told them, and it was like a relief. Like, you know, like you hold this stuff in, and you know, because like for me, I'll speak on me. Like you know, you hold this stuff in because you're like, what are people gonna say about me? What are people gonna think about me? Then it was, you don't want to get people in trouble,
or you don't want people to stop talking to you, and then it's gonna be a big family
And then
mess.
they think you lying.
And then, they think you lying.
Big family mess, and
You're gonna separate people. They're not gonna.
So then, you know, when I got grown and I got older, you know, but I'm holding on to this. So like there were certain things about me. Negative things about me because I've held on to this for so long, to where, you know, when I had this conversation with my younger sister, shout out to my sister April and, you know, my aunt Carol, I had this conversation with them. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can breathe.
People don't understand.
And
That's PTSD.
And the thing of it was
For
is
sure.
that
For sure.
you know, I thought like they were gonna have so much to, maybe like some negativity or something to say back, and it wasn't. It was, their response was like, wow. Oh
And sometimes the healing is not even getting advice. It's just listening.
It's
Just
getting
listening
it
because you
out.
have so many years of all this stuff. It's just somebody hearing you and just giving you that space. That's sometimes all people need, at least to start off at. Because pain becomes your personality. Half the people are not who they are. First of all, they're adult children.
Say that
from the moment that they got hurt.
They are not who they are.
A lot of these mothers are daughters trapped in the mother's body, acting like a mom. That's why they can't be mothers, because they're hurt from whatever they went through as a child.
Yes.
I was at 15 for the longest.
Yes.
And trying to be a mother and go to school and all this, but you can pump, you can go to work, we can survive, because I'm a black woman, I can do all that.
Yeah.
But healing, what is that?
What is
that? Did not exist.
And we don't know what that is.
See how when we talk about that, like, when are we allowed to heal? When are we allowed to?
We're not, because we're so stuck on being resilient.
Well, we can't heal because we're taking care of kids and we're working and we're doing this and we're doing that, and it's like, when do you find time for yourself, for your personal development?
And then, if anything, like if you express anything, then
you're wrong.
You fussing, you crying.
You know, why, be a woman, grow up.
But the main ones that say, the main one, when you ask them, well, how do I? They can't tell you how. They don't know either, because they're in the same boat as you.
They can't tell you.
Because their pain is their personality as well. And people, that's why they're so quick to say, like, you only get one mother, because they can't handle your pain. They don't want it, because they have to be accountable then.
That's just a quick fix answer.
Because here's my thing, like, and I have to say this to King. This goes back to King when he was saying, you know, he has, you know, his daughter and, you know, his son, and, you know, they have like really good relationships. Like for me, I look at my daughter, my youngest daughter, my 13-year-old, and I look at the relationship that she has with her dad, and I just sit and I just look. Because it's something that I don't, it's a relationship that I have absolutely no idea of how this is supposed to go. Oh, so you're a daddy's girl. This is you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just playing.
But
I'm just playing.
But I love it. You know, I love the fact that she sees, you know, she got mommy and daddy, and I love the fact that she's a daddy's girl.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I stare at her and I watch them because I'm like, it's amazing,
Yeah,
but how
it
does
is
that
amazing.
feel? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, that's a
It
feeling
is
like I would
amazing.
never,
It is, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
It is
So-
amazing.
And it's like, and you know, you get that with like with your kids. You know, you get your, you know, your girls who are daddy's girls. Always, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But then you also have like a certain bond, like with your boys. You know,
Actually, they
which-
call the boys. Let Shauna tell it. Is daddy's boys.
See,
Like,
now,
the
I
boys
think, I
is-
think the 16-year-old is a daddy's boy, but he says no, he's a mama's boy. You know, he's a
Yeah.
and so
That's
like
real.
with my son, like the 16-year-old, I don't know, the oldest one, he's not a nobody's boy. He's just grown.
We had just asked this question like just the other day. We had went washing the laundromat, and I asked our middle son, the second oldest. I say, who's the cooler parent? You know,
Really?
immediately they said me. He's like, but you're also the meanest family.
Here's the thing. I know for a fact I am not the coolest parent. That is Dan all the way around.
But see, I'm cool, but I put the Lord out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I'm the I think I'm the stern one. But then
I'm definitely
also,
I'm the stern one.
But then my kids also say I'm the embarrassing one. So like
Embarrassing.
I'm embarrassing because you know like I dance in the car and you know so like my kids they won't talk to their friends on the phone when they're with me. They won't do anything because they say that I'm embarrassing. But okay.
But that's an interaction. All that should be normalized. And I think that us from the 70s and 80s, it may be later on in life, but we're tackling these issues so that it can be normal for our kids and our kids' kids. It should be normal.
Yeah.
That stuff should be
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah, because the stuff that we're doing now with our kids, it's normal.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's very normal.
So
normal.
It is.
normal, but it's new.
It's new to us, but it
It's
should
new
be
to
normal.
us, but it's so normal.
To all our
It's so
viewers
normal.
out there, man, if you want to chime in, you can give us a call at 248-838-3661. Again, that's 248-838-3661. We are over in Studio 4.
We're in Studio 4, and we got a visitor. Hey, Randy.
What's up, Rand?
Hello.
How are you, Randy? Are you okay?
I'm good. Sorry
Okay.
Kate had to duck out.
No,
Something
it's
came
okay. I see. I hope she's okay. I hope all is well. Okay, so look. Kiana.
Me?
Yeah. Okay, so, you know, first of all, let me back up because I'm trying to do so many things at once.
Because y'all was supposed to touch on that topic.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on the topic. But one of the things for 2020, I just really it's all about healing and it's all about like I want everybody to just heal, start your healing process. Stop holding on to these things that have just kind of put you in a bad space or you know what I'm saying? Like these things that have just hindered you like in life. You know what I'm saying?
One thing I will say, you're not promised tomorrow. Live your life.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's too much going on.
Absolutely. Say your website.
www.unmotherfuckyourself.com.
I'm mother.
www.unmotherfuckyourself.com.
Yeah.
She loves saying that.
She do. I'm gonna have to do a commercial.
I was stumbling
for
trying
her
to say it. I'm
saying
like,
But
Angelina has no problem saying
we
it.
have to do. We need her to talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
what is-
I want to know
what
where
is
it
this
stemmed
Because
from.
this is a service.
Yeah. Yes.
So first of all, I just had it. So like I've been on her website and the way she writes, the way you write, it rolls
Thank you.
so freely and it's so relatable. Like I can vibe off of what you're writing. But talk about it. That's just
So it's
my
just
own
basically,
little-
it means a lot of things. It's undoing what you went through with your mother. It can be even fuck your mama. It can be.
just unmotherfuck yourself.
Because sometimes when you're a daughter, and this is from experience, and it's from me working with women directly, you care so much about your mother, you want so much from her, and you don't get it, and you get stuck at that spot. I'm not saying for you to tell your mama fuck you. If you do, that's on you. That's your World War
Right,
II,
I didn't
2,
tell
4,
you to
5,
do that.
6. That's your plight. But if you want, that's what you want to do. But I'm saying it's an attitude. Just think when you get into with somebody, right, and they make you mad. You might, man, fuck that. And you shift. It has to be a shift to move on. And it's not about your mother anymore. You holding her accountable, but you're not blaming her. You're holding yourself accountable for your healing. She's accountable for the pain, but you have to heal. You grown now. She can't heal you no more.
Absolutely.
Yes.
She cannot heal you, and she can't come with you on your healing. Her journey is her journey, and where you need to go is where you need to go. And that's not going to include her, and it may be you may not even talk to her anymore. And a lot of women, they have to leave their mother where she is at to move on. If your mother is still being abusive, you have the right to not be bothered or be in contact with her. I don't care what nobody tell you.
Definitely got to disconnect.
Because if
from
I
that
share
energy.
this same story that I shared with y'all, and I didn't say who it was, you thought it was you would think it's a man. You would tell me to leave him. He no good. But the moment I say my mama, oh girl, you know how she is, or she did her best. Her best is not abusing me. Her best is not having men come around. Whether you know, like I said, there's no manual, but it's a moral to it.
Absolutely.
And you know when you're wrong.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got to wrap up. So really, really quick, Kiana, I'm gonna let you. We said that we were gonna share something with you guys at the end. I'm gonna let Kiana share. 'Cause she's better at this.
Okay, so me.
Okay, you want me to do it? I mean,
well-
you do it. You the guest.
So this year, me and Angelita will be in an anthology called Surviving Her. It's coming soon.
Yes.
It's a book of survivors. And so we're excited about that.
Yes.
We
So, again, things happen for a reason, and I think that link back up for us.
Yes, because let me tell you, something kept saying, call Angelita. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was God. I don't know. It just kept call Angelita. And I'm like, I need to call her. And I kept forgetting. And then holiday, Christmas. So anyway, I said, I'm about to call her. And when I called her, we got to talking. Like she said, it was just like we picked back up.
Absolutely.
Like, nothing has happened. It was genuine. And she was like, you know what? Do you want to do? I was like, yes.
So I was given the opportunity was presented to me, and I was like, and it was funny because she was like, I have room for someone else, and I'm like, Kiana, she was the first person that popped in mind. So there's a total of 10 women who is in this anthology. All of them are, I think Kiana and I are the only ones from Michigan.
Yes.
There's women from Virginia. There's women from Maryland, Atlanta. So this is the first that you're hearing about it, because I know I haven't said anything. You haven't said anything. So definitely in this book, you're going to find out some things about Angelita.
Yes, and I'm so
some
happy.
things that you don't know about
I am
Angelita.
so happy that you're
All right.
writing about it.
Okay. So listen. So we got to wrap up, but I think that we need to do a part 2. We owe a couple more part twos. We only got one part. We only got 2 people that we got to bring back for part 2. That's Andre Ebron and Tanita Cash Money Johnson. So I really think I want you guys to come back so that we can do a part 2.
I definitely want to
Yes.
come back.
Yes.
So we'll come back probably around the time when our book comes out.
Let's come back when our book comes out. Yes.
Right. That sounds good.
All right. So thank you. That makes sense, right, Randy? Right. Duh. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining us on Real Talk. We'll see you guys in, is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks? We don't got no long.
Thank you, King.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having us.
Angelita.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Cool.
Love you guys.
Bye.